What if the pain you're feeling right now isn't here to break you, but to prepare you for something you've been praying for? My beloved child, I know you're tired. Not just physically tired. I'm talking about the kind of tiredness that reaches your soul. The kind that comes from carrying burdens nobody else can see. The kind that makes you smile in front of people while secretly fighting tears when you're alone. And lately, you've been asking me the same question. Lord, why does this hurt so much? Why am I going through this? Why haven't things changed yet? My child, I hear every one of those questions. And today, I want you to hear my heart. Because the pain you're carrying right now is not meaningless. I know it feels heavy. I know it feels unfair. I know there are moments when you wonder if I even see what you're going through. But I do. I've seen every tear, every sleepless night, every silent prayer, every moment you wanted to quit but somehow found the strength to keep going. I've seen it all, and I need you to understand something. Just because you don't understand the purpose of your pain today doesn't mean there isn't one. Many years ago, there was a young man named Joseph. Joseph loved me. Joseph tried to do what was right, yet his own brothers betrayed him. Think about that for a moment. The people who were supposed to protect him were the very people who hurt him. He was thrown into a pit, sold into slavery, falsely accused, forgotten in prison. Year after year, things seemed to get worse. Can you imagine how confused he must have been? Can you imagine the prayers he prayed inside that prison? Maybe they sounded a lot like yours. Lord, why is this happening? Lord, where are you? Lord, how much longer? But what Joseph couldn't see, I could. While Joseph thought his life was falling apart, I was putting every piece into place. The pit had a purpose. The slavery had a purpose. Even the prison had a purpose. Because I was preparing him for a position he wasn't ready for yet. My child, sometimes the reason you're hurting is because I'm preparing you for something bigger than you can currently imagine. And preparation often feels uncomfortable. Nobody enjoys the process. Even athletes understand this. Before they stand on the championship stage, they spend months training, sweating, struggling, pushing through pain. Why? Because greatness requires preparation. And spiritual growth works the same way. I care deeply about the blessings you're asking for, but I also care about the person you're becoming while waiting for them. Because if I gave you everything immediately without building your character first, the blessing could destroy what it was meant to help. That's why some seasons feel slow. That's why some prayers seem delayed. That's why some doors remain closed longer than you expected. Not because I've forgotten you, not because I don't love you, but because I'm working on things you cannot see. And trust me, I'm doing more behind the scenes than you realize.
My beloved child, there is something you need to remember. The greatest miracles in Scripture were often born in seasons that looked hopeless. Think about Moses. For 40 years he lived in the wilderness. 40 years. Not 40 days, not 40 weeks. 40 years. From a human perspective, it looked like his best years were being wasted. He wasn't leading nations, he wasn't performing miracles, he wasn't standing before kings. He was simply tending sheep in the desert, day after day, year after year, the same routine, the same wilderness, the same waiting. And maybe that's exactly how you feel right now, like life has become one long season of waiting, like everyone else is moving forward while you're standing still, like your prayers are stuck somewhere between earth and heaven. But my child, Moses wasn't being forgotten in the wilderness. He was being prepared there. The desert taught him dependence. The desert taught him humility. The desert taught him to hear my voice. And when the right moment arrived, I used that same man to change history. You see, people often celebrate the miracle, but they ignore the preparation. They celebrate the victory, but they overlook the process. Yet the process is where I do some of my deepest work. Because before I change your circumstances, I often change you. Before I open the door, I prepare you to walk through it. Before I give you the blessing, I prepare you to carry it. And right now, even if you can't see it, that is exactly what I am doing. I am strengthening areas of your life that have been weak. I am teaching you lessons that success alone could never teach. I am building a faith that doesn't depend on perfect circumstances, because real faith isn't trusting me when everything is going well. Real faith is trusting me when nothing seems to make sense. That is the kind of faith that moves mountains. That is the kind of faith that changes lives. That is the kind of faith I am developing in you.
My child, I know you've experienced disappointment. Some people promised they would stay, but they left. Some people said they loved you, but they hurt you. Some opportunities seemed perfect, but they disappeared. Some dreams looked so close, but somehow slipped away. And if you're honest, some of those wounds still hurt. You try not to think about them. You try to move on. But every now and then, the memories return, and the pain feels fresh all over again. But listen carefully. The wounds that hurt you do not have the power to define you. Just because someone rejected you does not mean you are rejected. Just because someone walked away does not mean I have walked away. Just because a door closed does not mean your future closed with it. I am still writing your story, and I am not finished yet. Remember David. Before he became king, he was overlooked by his own family. When the prophet came to anoint the future king, David wasn't even invited. Imagine how that must have felt. Everyone else was considered. Everyone else was noticed. Everyone else seemed important. But David was left in the field, forgotten, ignored, unseen. Yet while others overlooked him, I saw him. While others dismissed him, I was preparing him. While others focused on appearances, I was looking at his heart.
My child, there may be moments when you feel invisible, moments when it seems like nobody notices your effort. Nobody appreciates your sacrifice. Nobody understands your struggle. But I see it all. I see every act of faithfulness. I see every prayer. I see every time you choose to trust me even when you're hurting. Nothing escapes my attention. Nothing is wasted in my hands. Not your tears, not your waiting, not your disappointments, not even your pain. Because I am able to take the very thing the enemy meant to destroy you with and use it to make you stronger. Just look at the cross. The enemy thought the cross was defeat. The enemy thought darkness had won. The enemy thought the story was over. But the cross wasn't the end. It was the beginning of redemption. And the same God who turned a cross into victory can turn your current pain into a testimony, can turn your struggle into strength, can turn your heartbreak into healing, can turn your waiting into purpose. So don't judge your future based on your present feelings. Feelings change, circumstances change, but my promises remain, and I have not forgotten a single promise I made to you, not one. Even now, while you're listening to these words, I am working. Even now, while you're wondering how things will turn out, I am working. Even now, while you're carrying questions you cannot answer, I am working. You may not see my hand, but you can trust my heart, because I have always been faithful, and I will be faithful to you. My child, hold on a little longer. The chapter you're in right now is not the end of your story. There is still more to come. There is still healing ahead. There is still restoration ahead. There is still purpose ahead. And what I am preparing for you is greater than what you have lost.
My beloved child, I know there have been days when you felt like giving up. Days when the weight became so heavy that you didn't know how much longer you could carry it. Days when you smiled in public but cried in private. Days when you questioned your worth. Days when you questioned your future. And maybe even days when you questioned me. But my child, I was never offended by your questions. I was right there beside you through every tear. I was there when nobody called. I was there when nobody understood. I was there when your heart felt shattered into pieces, and I am still here now. You see, one of the biggest lies the enemy tries to tell you during painful seasons is this: you're alone. But that has never been true, not for a single moment. When Daniel was thrown into the lion's den, I was there. When Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego stood inside the fiery furnace, I was there. When Paul sat in prison wondering what would happen next, I was there. And when you sit alone at night carrying burdens nobody else knows about, I am there too. You may not always feel my presence, but my presence is not determined by your feelings. I am with you whether you feel me or not. I am near whether you recognize it or not, and I have not abandoned you. My child, there are things happening right now that you cannot see. While you're worried about tomorrow, I am already there. While you're anxious about the future, I am already making a way. While you're asking how everything will work out, I am arranging things behind the scenes. There are doors I am preparing, people I am positioning, opportunities I am creating, blessings I am protecting, and timing I am perfecting. That's why I need you to trust me, not because you understand everything, but because I see everything. Remember Lazarus. When people sent word that he was sick, it looked like I arrived too late. By the time I got there, Lazarus had already been in the tomb for 4 days. Everyone thought the story was over. Everyone believed the miracle had missed its opportunity. But I wasn't late. I was working according to a greater purpose. Because sometimes what looks like a delay to you is actually divine timing. And when I called Lazarus out of that tomb, everyone saw that my timing was perfect. My child, maybe there are areas of your life that feel buried right now. Dreams that seem dead, prayers that seem unanswered, hope that feels exhausted. But I am still the God who calls dead things back to life. I am still the God who opens impossible doors. I am still the God who makes a way where there seems to be no way. Do not let your current pain convince you that your future has been canceled. Your story is not over. The struggle is not the end. The heartbreak is not the end. The waiting is not the end. Because I am still writing chapters that you haven't read yet. One day, you will look back on this season, and what feels like confusion today will make sense. What feels like disappointment today will reveal its purpose. What feels like pain today will become part of your testimony. And you will realize that I never left you, not once. You will see how I carried you through moments when you thought you were carrying yourself. You will see how I protected you from things you never knew about. You will see how closed doors saved you from wrong paths. You will see how delays protected blessings that were not yet ready. And on that day, your faith will be stronger because of what you survived. My beloved child, do not quit now. Do not walk away now. Do not surrender your faith now. You have come too far. I have brought you through too much. The same hand that carried you yesterday will carry you tomorrow. The same grace that sustained you before will sustain you again. The same love that found you in your darkest moment will never stop pursuing you. Lift your eyes. Take one more step. Trust me one more day. Pray one more prayer. Believe one more time, because your breakthrough may be closer than you think, and the purpose hidden inside this pain is greater than you can imagine. I am not finished with your story. I am not finished with your life, and I am certainly not finished with you. I love you. I am with you, and I am turning this pain into purpose. My beloved child, if you love me, say I love you and subscribe this channel.